Have you ever wondered what happens after the traditional fairy tale ends? In this book, The Frog Prince Continued by Scieszka, he gives us his version of what happens after the traditional fairy tale. The prince and princess are having a little bit of trouble in their marriage, so the prince decides to run away and find a witch who can turn him back into a frog. On his journey, he meets 3 different witches in the woods, but none of them are able to help him. He finally meets a fairy godmother who is willing to give it a try. My favorite part of the story is when he meets the fairy godmother because she has a little bit of an attitude. When he asks for help, she tells him, "Gosh, do you need it?" said the fairy godmother. "You are the worst looking frog I've ever seen." And when she finally agrees to help him out, she says, "Well, I'm on my way to see a girl in the village about going to a ball, but I suppose I could give it a try. I've never done frogs before, you know." I would recommend using this book with any grade that is studying traditional tales or fairy tales. For example, a grade 8 standard is for students to analyze how a modern work of fiction draws on themes, patterns of events, or character types from traditional stories. A 5th grade standard is to compare and contrast stories of the same genre on their approach to similar themes. Students could write what they think happens after this story ends, or pick another fairy tale and write what they think happens after that fairy tale ends. They could also turn this story into a reader's theater and perform it in front of the class. They could analyze the thoughts, feelings, and actions of the prince and princess in this story and prepare questions that they would ask the prince or princess. They could also take on the role of the prince or princess and be prepared to answer those questions. The fairy godmother accidentally turns the prince into a carriage, so he must sit in the woods all night long, and he finally decides that being a prince isn't quite so bad. At midnight, he turns back into himself and runs home to his very worried princess. So what happens after the prince returns to his princess? You'll have to read The Frog Prince Continued to find out.